back with another episode of Local Roots. Hi, I'm Todd Studer, and I have a bit of an announcement to make. Well, I'll just do it this way. Yep, I had a meeting yesterday with Executive Director of WIDA, Stacy Kinney, and I am now officially a member of Western Iowa Development Association, and I couldn't be happier. This is an organization that's doing some wonderful work to support the business community and also the communities themselves around Pottawatomie County, and I am now officially a member. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with this yet. I gotta stick it someplace, but we'll figure out a place for that to go. But and thank you for everything that WIDA has already been doing for me. A lot of the interviews and a lot of the connections that I have been making on this show, well, they have been coming from WIDA. So thank you for everything so far, and I'm looking forward to continuing on with that relationship and things continuing to grow. Coming up on today's show, we are going to visit with Travis Casltle, Casltle & Associates, American Family Insurance, 4 offices, including in Trainer, Council Bluffs, Bellevue, and Elkhorn on the other side of the river. And we're going to answer some insurance questions. There's a lot of changes going on right now in the insurance world, and Travis is big on education, and he wants to make sure that you understand some of these changes. And I don't want to spoil too much of it because it's a great conversation, but that is coming up very, very shortly. Also, do you or someone you know need in-home care? Home Care Advocacy Network helps you maintain your own privacy in your own space while still receiving care and support with a personalized touch. Aging in place can be critical for many people. Home Care Advocacy Network can meet those needs with an understanding that assisted living is best at home. HCAN of Southwest Iowa brings the personal touch to care at home in Council Bluffs, Glenwood, Red Oak, Clarinda, all of the surrounding communities. Visit hcan.com/Southwest Iowa to learn more. Also, if you need precision metal fabrication done right, Foxco Fabrication is the company that you need to get a hold of. From custom welding to large-scale manufacturing to small projects, from signs, cups, business cards, they're going to bring your ideas to life with expert craftsmanship and cutting-edge technology. Technology? What is technology? I'm just making up words now. Could be industrial, commercial, or custom fabrication. Go online to foxcofab.com to learn more. Joining us this morning, it's Travis Casltle, Casltle & Associates with American Family Insurance. 4 locations. You can't get more local than Travis Casltle. And great to have you on the show this morning, sir.
Thanks, Todd. I appreciate it. You bet.
I've been looking forward to having this conversation with you because there's so much going on right now in the insurance world, and so many. I just got a notice in the mail recently about changes to the policy, and I'm looking through this, and I said, "Well, when did this happen?" And it's kind of volatile right now, isn't it?
Yeah, you're exactly right, and I enjoy talking about it just because we want to be really very educational. We want to be advisory within our agency, and I just think it's our duty and our responsibility to keep educating people on the changes that are going on. And you mentioned it. Every day it seems like every day we get mail from our insurance company, and every day people don't read that mail. And I've been in the industry now for 18 years, and never have I seen more changes to the base policy than I've seen in the last 24 months. And so from an insurance standpoint, and as an insurance provider, I just think that it's really important that people start either talking to their agent or reaching out to people that they can trust and have a conversation with them about what some of those changes are that are coming down the pipe from the insurance company, because they will affect you as a homeowner, as an auto owner, from an insurance standpoint. And so we like to try and really get out in front of that and have conversations with people so they know and understand what those changes are.
Well, you brought up homeowners and auto. Is it happening in other policies too, such as business insurance or farm insurance or things like that? Is it just all the different policies?
That's a really good question. It is all lines. And we're seeing it. We not only do we specialize in home and auto, but we also, as you led into it, we do a great deal of business insurance, and farm insurance. And we are seeing it across the board. And some of those specific changes that I just want people to be aware of is, and the reason for the change is because insurance companies have for years based their premiums on historical data. Well, back when you and I were growing up, Todd, we used to have a hailstorm every 7 years, right? It
Right.
wouldn't happen that often. It'd be like, oh my gosh, we had a hailstorm, and then there would go 5 years without a hailstorm, and insurance companies could price their policies according to those weather patterns. Well, what's happened in the last 5 to 10 years is that the weather just continues to come, right? The storms continue to come, hailstorms, whether they be hailstorms or tornadoes or high winds, those storms are happening over and over and over. And insurance companies haven't been able to get ahead of the game on their premium. And so what they've done is they've now had to make changes that will help spread the costs of the insurance over a couple different areas. One of those areas that you can have, one of the levers that they can pull is we can have an increase in premium. And that has been happening across the board. People have seen their premiums going up on their policies. A couple other changes that I want to make people aware of is one is the deductible structure. And then another one is what we call the roof schedule. Now, what I mean by deductible structure is we used to have a $500 deductible no matter what the claim was. It could be a kitchen fire, we have a $500 deductible. It could be a hailstorm, we have a $500 deductible. That then had started to creep up and it went to a $1,000 deductible, mandatory $1,000 deductible on policies. Now, what insurance companies have tried to do to overcome the frequency and severity of storms that we're seeing is they've broken those deductibles into two different sections. You have an all other peril deductible, which would take care of things like a kitchen fire or maybe a water pipe that breaks. And those are all other perils besides wind and hail. Because by far in the Midwest, what we're seeing more than anything in the insurance industry is wind and hail damage and devastation to people's properties. So what insurance companies have done to try and pull a different lever besides premium is they've changed their deductible structure for wind and hail, and they've gone to a percent deductible. Some companies have been a percent deductible for 10 years, but majority of the companies are now switching to a percent deductible for wind hail. A lot of people say, what's that percent based on? And that's a great question. And that percent is based on the value of their home. It's sometimes called coverage A, sometimes called dwelling coverage, but your structural coverage to your home. So the real easy math is if you have a $500,000 home, you have a 1% of 500,000 is a $5,000 deductible. If you have a $250,000 home and you have a wind and hail storm, you have a 1% of that $250,000 home, so you have a $2,500 deductible. You escalate that up to a $1 million home. Now you have a $10,000 deductible. So it's 1% of whatever the coverage is, and it's really important for us to communicate that as insurance professionals because no one likes a surprise. No one doesn't want to have a hailstorm thinking that they have a $1,000 deductible because that's what they've always had. And then all of a sudden they get their roofers come and they get the payout from the adjuster and they have a $5,000 deductible. And so there's the surprises that we don't like for people to have. So we try to get out ahead of it and do a good job of communicating with our customers about how that deductible structure is changing and how it's working from that standpoint.
I think step one with everything that you just said is open that mail. Take a look when it comes, because you said a lot of it that doesn't even, we're not even looking at it. Take a look because there could be changes in there that you are going to want to know about. Mm-hmm. I'm curious though, Travis, you talked about the more frequency that we're seeing in the storms or hail and wind. Mm-hmm. Has the rising cost of repair and replacement, has that factored into it as well?
Yeah, that's a really good point as well. There's two or three factors. Obviously, the increased severity and frequency of storms, but as you said, is the houses that we now live in, and if people that are building houses, you're seeing a 40 to 50% increase in the cost of homes. And if you're seeing that large of an increase in the cost of homes, it therefore takes more to repair them when there is damage. And so the escalation of an inflation that we're seeing on home values, repair costs, and the like are all causing an impact to the rates that you're seeing. I talk all the time about how when I was growing up and you had a fender bender in your car, you might have to replace your chrome bumper on your 1972 Monte Carlo. And that chrome bumper had no technology in it. It had no cameras in it or anything of that sort. And so the bumper might have cost $250. Now you have a fender bender and you destroy the bumper on your 2012 vehicle. You have a camera in it, you have a sensor in it, and it's made out of plastic, and all of that has to be replaced. Now a $250 fix then is a $2,500 fix now. And so you are seeing a great deal of increase in prices, not only for homes, but also what it takes to fix cars as well.
Is part of the strategy making sure that you've got the right policy that fits exactly what it is that you need? It sounds like there might be some room to make some adjustments to make sure that the coverage is correct.
Yeah, and I'm going to answer that question, but also add on to something you said about opening your mail. One
Right.
thing that you should be being offered annually is a personal insurance review. It's something every year we contact our property owners and we offer them a personal insurance review. If you have been offered that and haven't taken it, because I'm not saying it has to be done every year, but every couple years you should sit down with your insurance advisor, and you should just have a 15 to 25-minute conversation about what your policies look like. So that way you can worry about it with that agent for 30 minutes. And then the agent can worry about it for the other 365 days of the year. But it's really important to take advantage of those reviews that your insurance provider is offering, because those are the opportunities for that agent to then customize the policy for you. We get rid of surprises if we sit down and have a review, and everybody knows exactly what they have for coverage. And then the other thing that allows is it allows you as the consumer to take back some of the control of that policy and your costs and put it into your hands. We now, as we're sitting across the table from each other, or it could be done over the phone, or it could be done via Zoom to have that review, we're going to sit down and we're going to go over your coverages on your home. Do you have enough coverage? Is a really important thing that we're seeing. Some of the devastating tornadoes that we saw last year roll through, the Minden area and the Trainer area and out in West Omaha area. We're seeing a number of houses that were underinsured. So those annual reviews are a good opportunity to say, what is your home insured for on a price per square foot? It's the time to be able to look at the contents and say, how much contents do we have? What's covered? It's time to look at your jewelry or your collectibles and see what's covered there. But then also you can start customizing things so that you can maybe control your premium a little bit. Can you reduce certain coverages in certain areas? And you as the homeowner take on a little bit more risk in yourself, thinking that I'm going to self-insure in some of these areas so that I don't have to pay so much on an annual basis, and I'm going to roll the dice a little bit. I think that as we move into this new world of insurance and what's happening with policy changes, I think that people have to start looking at it as a catastrophic policy. And if something big happens, I've got insurance. But some of the smaller stuff, I can take ownership of, I can fix myself, and I wouldn't necessarily turn in a claim for that. So you're 100% right, Todd. Sitting down, looking at your policies, having an advisory meeting with your agent is important to put that control back into your hands on what's going on with your premium and what's going on with your coverage.
Typically, do insurance companies break things out by region, or is it something where, say the fires that were out in California earlier, are those going to play into effect of what we experience here?
Yeah, that's a great point. They try to break them out per region for the most part. There will be some bleeding that happens, state to state and whatnot. For instance, I represent American Family Insurance with my carrier, and I've been with American Family now for 18 years, and we're based in Madison, Wisconsin. We're a Midwest-based company, and we only insure on the 18 intercoastal states of the United States. We don't have any coastal exposure, so no hurricanes, no wildfires on the coast. There are some obviously through Colorado and other areas where you see some of the wildfires, but as companies lose money, it is going to have an impact on the bottom line and have an impact on the rates they may have to charge across the United States. So it is impactful, and it will have a trickle down effect as well.
What you're making me think about is, as we're recording this, there was the potential for some very bad weather blowing through last night. Now, we dodged it,
Yeah.
but they were calling for baseball size hail. I think one meteorologist actually said apple size hail. And I thought, oh, that's kind of a strange way of putting it. But so we didn't see it. But if other areas did,
Yeah.
then all of that could still get factored in when it comes time for insurance. Because insurance companies have to be profitable. If they lose money year after year, they won't be in business, and we don't have insurance. So it's a difficult process to go through.
Yeah. And that being rate adequate for insurance companies, and I understand, and I'm never asking for sympathy for the insurance companies. I understand that people pay in, and I completely respect that and value that. But they have to be rate adequate in order to pay out the claims appropriately. And that's why it is important, as you mentioned, Todd, and alluded to, it's really important that they do stay solvent. Because if they're not solvent, then there's no claims that are being paid out. And so, one of the things that you had mentioned, baseball size hail, and where that might happen from that standpoint, they really also will drill down into state. A lot of companies will look at each state individually, and they will look at the loss ratio of the state or the combined ratio of the state. And the combined ratio is a makeup of the number of expenses that an insurance company has and the amount of claims an insurance company has. And we can only control so many of those. American Family has really done a good job of controlling their expenses by reducing their corporate expenses by double digits in the last 3 years. So that helps reduce that claims or that combined ratio. But the thing we have a hard time controlling is that the loss ratio on each individual state. So if in Iowa they get hail in Des Moines and it destroys the whole state of Des Moines, it can have an impact on the entire state. And so each state has to be profitable so they can pay out those claims. So we're really hoping for clean weather in our entire region to maybe help out with those rate factors as well.
With all of the changes, I'm assuming that you've been through an awful lot of a learning curve and a lot of studying, and I'm guessing probably even corporate-wide events that they're teaching all the folks that are in your position about what's going on. It has to have been just a lot of information coming in over the last couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely. And we certainly pride ourselves on being very educational and very advisory, as I've mentioned. And to do that, we have to, and the team that you had mentioned, we have 4 locations, and I've got an amazing team that's here ready to help people every day. We take great pride in educating our team members. Everybody that works for me is fully licensed, which means that they're an insurance professional. And anybody that answers the phone can find out the answer for you. And if we can't find out the answer, we're not going to try and make up something. We're going to simply tell you the best answer. Sometimes, as I tell my team, is, I don't know the answer to that, but I'm going to find out the answer to that. And it's really important in this volatile, changing environment that my team has enough confidence to be able to say, I don't know the answer that you just asked, but I'm going to find out for you. And that gives our customers peace of mind that, hey, I'm not just getting some answer off the cuff. And 95% of the questions we can answer because we've been very well educated. Corporately, American Family does an amazing job of making sure that we're ready to provide our customers with an excellent customer experience. But at the same time, when those questions are difficult to answer, we're going to find out the right answer and get back to people the same day from that standpoint.
Yeah, I know that, and you've already alluded to it, Travis, that the educational aspect is really, really big with you, and to make sure that people are fully informed.
Yeah.
It's not about a sales pitch. It's about doing what's best for the person and let them make up their own mind from there.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been with American Family for 18 years. I'm 15 or 20 years from retiring, and we want to have a strong reputation for being customer driven, and for being customer focused in providing people the solutions when they have a problem. Obviously, we want to be on the front side of insurance and provide you with the proper coverage that you need, evaluate your coverage, make sure the policy fits you and your budget. But on the backside of it, that's where I talk to my team about, and the fact that we really shine. We have an opportunity to follow up with a customer who maybe just lost their home to a tornado or to a fire, or we have a customer on the line that has a situation where maybe their roof and one whole side of their house has been destroyed by hail. That is really our time to shine. And it's our opportunity to make sure we bring those customers in and we make sure they're taken care of. We make sure that we deliver the promise that we delivered at the sale of the policy, in the fact that we're going to be your advocate in following through with that claim. We're going to make sure that it goes well. We're going to make sure that you understand the multiple pieces that go with a claims process, so that you have a partner in the business, and you can rest assured that we're going to make sure your claim gets done and done properly. You get made whole again, and we fulfill the promise that we delivered when we sold you the policy. And so we truly pride ourselves on that level of customer experience.
Uh,
Before
I'm uh, looking for I'm looking forward to being able to continue to get more information because, as you said, the changes are happening and probably they're not done yet.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that as the months go by, we may even see some additional changes that you're going to be keeping track of, and we'll be able to get that information out here. So I'm grateful that you jump on the program with me and we can pass some of that on because, and there's certain things in our life that are these are monthly expenses that we always have to have, and insurance is one of them, and it's a big one. That's it's just something that we need to make sure that everything is correct because it's the time to find out it's not is not when you need it.
You don't like surprises.
Right,
Absolutely.
exactly.
Surprises. 100%.
Well, Travis, thank you so much for your time. Grateful for everything that it is that you're doing, and looking forward to seeing you again.
Well, we appreciate your coverage, and we appreciate all that you're doing for our region, Todd. We love it. Thank you.
Tons of great information there. And we're going to have Travis back. And if you have any questions, insurance questions, this would be a great place to get them answered. So if you can just leave a comment here with a question, and we'll get it on the list for the next time that Travis is on the show. And we can talk specifically about your question. Or you can always just send me an email, toddstuder@gmail.com, or get a hold of Travis at American Family Insurance, Casltle and Associates. And I'm sure that he'd be very happy to have that conversation with you too, to answer all of those questions. Do you have a leak or a clogged drain, or maybe you're planning a big remodel? Waldstein Plumbing in Council Bluffs has you covered with fast, reliable service and expert craftsmanship, handling everything from small repairs to major installations. Locally owned, taking pride in doing the job right the first time, residential or commercial, big or small. When plumbing problems strike, call Waldstein Plumbing and visit them online at waldsteinplumbing.com. And also, Air Serv Heating and Air Conditioning and Waldstein Plumbing are our title sponsors on a webcast that is coming up May 10th. And we are going to be doing a live webcast of the Celebrate CB Parade. We'll get started that morning. It's a Saturday. We'll get started that morning at 10, and the parade starts at 10:30. Obviously, first and foremost, we would love for you to come to the parade. But here's the cool part about doing this is that even with being at the parade, and maybe you're not right next to where the announcers are because you can't hear the parade announcers from everywhere along the parade route, you can pull us up online. We're going to be doing a live webcast on YouTube. We'll get you that site before coming up next week. We'll know for certain where we're going to be doing it at. And also, this is exciting too. I'm going to have a co-host, and it's Sheila Jenkinson. Sheila has her own podcast on the west side of the river, growing small town Nebraska, doing pretty much the same thing that I'm doing here, only a little bit of a different spin to it. Sheila's is just audio, but she's doing such a wonderful job, and she's also making a lot of waves in the podcast community, doing some regional speaking events about it as well. So I'm excited to have Sheila come over, and we're going to tag team this thing together and really enjoy the Celebrate CB Parade. So that's coming up again on May 10th. Thanks again, Travis Casltle, for joining us today. We've got a lot of great guests coming up in the soon-to-be days and weeks, and we're looking forward to bringing all of those to you. By the way, on the other show produced here, Morning Coffee, I have a special guest on today is Dee Heaton, and she is the executive director of the Corning Opera House. And I got connected with our old friend Vivian Kavam from Tandem Works, and she said, you should really talk to Dee. So I did. And I learned some great things about the Corning Opera House. Might be a great day trip sometime to make the trip down to Corning. All right, that wraps up the show for today. My name's Todd Studer. I hope that you have a great Thursday.